Welcome back to the channel, my friends. Warhammer Man Studios. I'm Warhammer Man, and today we're taking a look at the final two boarding patrol boxes. This video is sponsored by CMO Games. More on that later. That's right, this is as surprising to me as anyone else. The final two boarding patrol boxes prepare for breach. Leagues of Votann and Imperial Agents. So many boarding patrols have launched over the last few months, it's a wonder there's any fighting left to do on the actual planets at all. There's more to come from the Arcs of Omen yet, as the machinations of Vastor and Abaddon come to a brutal head in the forthcoming 5th book in the series, The Lion. Pretty much everyone seems to have climbed aboard the boarding actions train, but there are a few factions that are patiently awaiting their turn. That turn has now come. Open the airlocks for the Leagues of Votann and Imperial Agents. Alright, so here we have the Leagues of Votann box. We get the spaceball rolling with the newest kids on the Warhammer 40,000 block, the Leagues of Votann. The redoubtable kin enjoy nothing more than finding and boarding great floating space hulks as they tumble out of the warp and reappear in real space. There's much profit to be found in the esoteric salvage secreted aboard these rotting void barges, and you can acquire it for the glory of your own hold with 5 cybernetically enhanced Sthonian Berserkers, 5 diamond-hard Einherjar Hearthguard, and 10 geared-up Hearthkin Warriors, all led by a proud Einherjar champion. So I have to say, this is a pretty cool box right here. It basically has a little bit of everything you want with your Votann. So I really like this box. The two things that we're going to look at for either comparison or addition would be the limited edition army box for the Votann, the launch box, and then also their combat patrol. And in both cases, I think this goes rather well with it. I think the major exception is if you got the launch box, then probably you're not going to use 2 Einherjar champions. So that's a little redundant. But regardless of any other situation, I think the addition of 5 more Berserks or the Einherjar Hearthguard is absolutely amazing. As a matter of fact, seeing both those two in a box set makes it an auto purchase for me. Partially because I've been trying to get my hands on some more Hearthguard forever and still haven't been able to. They've been on back order for literally months. And honestly, the Berserks are so awesome. They fit great in any army. They're a lot of the actual like combat counterpunch. And the Berserks are really sort of like a jack of all trades. They have like some stratagem shenanigans. They have fight on death. They are extremely punchy. And realistically, in an army that shoots better than pretty much any other faction in the game, having that Counter-Strike offensive from your Berserks and then also the Hearthguard as well is really strong. So I love this box. I think it's amazing. I think right off the bat though, my big issue is just these boxes have been really hard to get a hold of lately. It seems like all the really popular ones have sold out instantly, and some of the other ones are just kind of lingering around. Games Workshop obviously has not done a good job figuring out exactly what they need to be making, exactly how popular any of these are. So I have a feeling this one's going to be very difficult to get a hold of. Just the fact that it's already extremely hard to get the Hearthguard. So throwing them in this box and again probably limiting the stores to 2 copies, I have a feeling this is going to be very difficult to get. I do really like it. I think it's great, but I don't want to get my hopes up on this one. Okay, and next we have kind of a left fielder here, Imperial Agents. So Games Workshop released some special rules for Imperial Agents in boarding actions, and now here is a boarding patrol box for them as well. Appropriately enough, this hefty boarding patrol is all about the Imperial Navy. It contains a whooping 20 Imperial Navy breachers who can be built a variety of specialists and gunners over the standard combat shotgun and hatchet. They are led by 10 members of the Elucidian Starstriders, a Cartographica rogue trader, her personal entourage, and a squad of Voidsmen, a loyal Canid. They're joined by an Eversur assassin, presumably for the levity of his presence and not because murderously volatile living bomb is exactly what you need in operation zone separated from the freezing cold of space by less than a meter of bulkhead. Both boarding patrol sets will be available for pre-order before you can shout brace for impact, and both factions will be getting some tasty extra boarding actions rules in the Arcs of Omen, the Lion. So yeah, this Imperial Agent set is really cool. I'm definitely a big fan of the Breachers. I absolutely love the idea of the Imperial Navy. Always been a big fan of the Elucidian Starstriders, one of my favorite kill teams from the old setup, and now really cool in this one as well. And then of course, who doesn't like the Eversur Assassin? Really, really cool model. So I think this is a nice set. It's definitely going to be popular. People are going to be after this, but because it's not really like a dedicated faction the same way like Squats or Space Marines or something like that is, I don't think it's going to be like insanely popular to just get people into Imperial Agents. I think a lot of people will just pick it up because it's cool, it has a lot of neat models in it, and it would be fun to play. but I don't think this is going to like start the beginning of like Imperial Agent armies or anything like that. That being said, the Star Starter box has that same issue though, where it has been pretty much sold out for month after month after month. So when this box does become available, I suspect it's going to sell out relatively quickly. So I think both these boxes are really cool. I think there's going to be a lot of excitement behind them. I really like all of the units in them, the models. I'm sure they're going to be a really good deal, probably somewhere around like 35% savings over MSRP. But at this point in time, we know it's the last two. I've been a really big fan of all the boarding patrols. I think they are super cool. There's some nice bundles, great units and everything like that. But the issue with these has been that they are limited edition. So they're not going to be restocked. And also they're extremely hard to get. Limiting your stores to only 2 copies of these things has made it a real pain to try to get a hold of any of them. So while I do love these things, I think realistically at this point in time, a lot of people have been disappointed with at least one of these boxes not being able to get a hold of it, if not multiples. So I don't want to get overly excited for this. So I'm going to try to get the Leagues of Votann box for sure. Definitely a big fan of this, and I do need those Hearthguard as well. So hopefully I'll have the ability to get my hands on one. Hopefully everybody else that wants one will as well. I think the real shocker here is them announcing that these are the last 2 boarding patrols. Now a quick message from today's sponsor. CMO Games has been selling Games Workshop products online for over 20 years. They carry the full line of Games Workshop products, including Warhammer 40,000, Age of Sigmar, Necromunda, Blood Bowl, paint tools, and more. Almost all Games Workshop products are priced at 15% off MSRP. CMO Games takes pre-orders for most Games Workshop products released at their earliest date possible. 12:01 a.m. on Saturday, they go live. Most of these pre-order products are also priced at 15% off MSRP. CMO Games offer free shipping in the US 48 with an order of $50 or more. Their customer service is top-notch and they ship most orders within 24 hours. Visit CMOGames.com using the affiliate link in the description and let them know that you heard about CMO Games from Warhammer Man. Now, back to the video. There are quite a few factions that didn't get a boarding patrol that were at least anticipating to get one. For instance, we still have not even seen the World Eaters Combat Patrol come out. And then on top of that, they're not going to get a boarding patrol either. That seems rather strange to me. Basically means that we've gone months now with the World Eater stuff being released, and none of the actual like boxes or deals or any way to even get them at a discount has come out. So for me, that's definitely a little bit predatory. They figure they're putting out a new thing. Why discount it? Just sell it at full price to everybody until the demand falls off, and then maybe just release the Combat Patrol after that. And I think that's exactly what they're doing. Obviously, they're a business, so we can't blame them for that. But I think it's definitely a little disappointing. World Eaters, Astra Militarum, people were really speculating about what was going to come in that box. A lot of people were super excited, hoping, wishing, praying that it was going to be Kasrkins and some Bullgrin. And now we find out they're not going to get any box at all. So now, in hindsight, that whole release feels really, really lazy to me. They basically put out the launch box for the Astra Militarum, and then they didn't even change anything between the launch packs and the Combat Patrol. They basically just took out the Codex and cards and then just called it the Combat Patrol. At least with the Leagues of Votann, they took out one of the regular squads of the Warriors and then added in some Berserks for the Combat Patrol. And, they also took out the Einherjar Champion. But at least it gave some kind of variance between them. So while I did really like these boarding actions box sets, I think the composition went really good with the combat patrols as well. And obviously this was a great way to get discounted models for either boarding actions or just for regular 40k. Even Kill Team had some stuff in here. So it was really cool that there's a lot of different stuff offered here and discounts. But unfortunately, Games Workshop's ability to even come close to meeting the demand has really made these sort of a letdown for a lot of people more than a good thing. And honestly, that brings me to one of Games Workshop's biggest issues. They constantly have what should be like great news or super exciting or get people hyped. And for whatever reason, the way they do their business, it always kind of feels like a letdown at the end or like a little jab. So I get that they're making all these things limited edition and it is savings. So of course people are going to be after the boxes and try to get them. But I think one of Games Workshop's biggest issues is they're pumping out way too much stuff and they can't keep up with the actual production of it. Like, in my opinion, what's the point of putting out a cool new unit if it's going to be sold out for 6 months at a time? Because there's tons of people that have money in their pocket, burning a hole, looking to buy their Einherjar Hearthguard, or looking to buy their Caddy and Kasrkins, or one of these other kits. If something is just sold out for months, like even something like the Kill Team cards, it really limits your hype. It really limits your ability to participate in the games. And honestly, it just puts kind of a bad taste in your mouth. So I guess one of the biggest issues that I have with all of this is Games Workshop has put out like something like 70 something boxes in the last like 3 months. which is awesome. It's great that they are discounting product and mass moving it out there. But the truth is, they're not really giving the people what they want. I guess if I was in charge of Games Workshop and I was going to make one change, I would say slow down the speed at which you're releasing things and make more of those key units. So for instance, when they're putting out like a new book or something like that, and they know something's going to be popular or really strong, like the Kasrkins or the Einherjar Hearthguard or one of these other units, just make sure that you produce extras of them. Farsight, for instance, Snickrot, etc. Because you know people are going to be super excited for them, and it's okay if everything doesn't sell out immediately and a little bit of product sits on a shelf somewhere. But I am really excited for these boarding patrols. I think they're super cool. Unfortunately, after the Farsight situation and Snickrot and just seeing like the overall like sort of disappointment in the community, not being able to get a hold of a lot of these boarding patrol boxes, honestly, I guess it's kind of good that this is the last couple of them. So I'm definitely a big fan of both these boarding patrols. They look super cool. Hopefully I can get my hands on specifically the Leagues of Votann one. This looks like a really good box set, and I definitely need some more of those Hearthguard. So let me know what you're super excited about. Have you not been able to get a hold of any of these boarding patrols and been left disappointed? Have you picked up maybe one or two more than you were expecting because they've been such great deals? I always like to hear back from you guys and get like the general feeling of the community. So far, I think boarding actions has been sort of accepted into the community. People are excited about it. It's okay. I think the actual boarding patrols, though, people are really excited about. But I think a lot of the excitement turned to disappointment as people have been basically unable to get a hold of some of these. So I do want to hear your guys' honest opinions. Let me know down below. Did you miss out on one of the boarding patrols? Did you pick up too many of them? Always like to hear back from you guys. It's definitely fun chatting it up with the community and getting your real life feedback. Special thanks to CMO Games for sponsoring the video. Check them out to save 15%, link in the description. That's it for today. Warhammer Man Studios. I'm Warhammer Man, and I really hope I can get a hold of this one. And I'm out of here.